Welcome back, everybody. So today we will talk about JSON. As you can see on day 16, there's a JSON lesson. So let's open and look at what it has. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. The JSON syntax is derived from JavaScript Object Notation syntax. But the JSON format is text. Yeah, it's just a text or string. Yeah, this is, as you can see, a string, a text. The JSON is a lightweight data format for storing. Yep, it does actually. It stores data and transporting on the internet. Yeah, during a client and server communication, the data will be sent as an JSON. For instance, let me show you the CATS API somewhere. Is it the CATS API? So we request and we got this data, this JSON data from this server. Yeah, as you can see, 67 items. And if you open that, you get 67 objects, yeah, and each object got some items. Great. Now let's get back to there. So this is an example of a JSON. As you can see, it could be an object like this, or what? For instance, just this only could be. Let me show you here a JSON test.json. This is just a JSON, but we have to remove the trailing comma. Now this is the proper JSON, but this could be also a proper JSON. We can have many of them. Of course, we should change this value. It shouldn't be the same, yeah? So you can see we have the same value for every item, but that doesn't make sense, right? This could be my information and the second could be someone else, and it goes like that. Okay, I think this seems so clear. Again, this is also with different structure. Again, this is a JSON. Let me show you here by just dumping it. Yeah, it's a proper JSON. So as you can see, JSON keys should be all the time double quote, and also the value should be double quote, double quote, double quote. But if it's a number data type, it should be just as it is. Of course, if it's a Boolean also, it should be as it is. And yeah, something you should notice, it's a file name. The file name is .json. .json, the extension. Great. Converting JSON to a JavaScript object. Yeah, that's a very good way. For instance, this, as you can see, is it's a really good example here that even though you see something like this, if you store it, users text, it will be just an object, a JavaScript object. So to avoid that, I use this backtick to change it to string or text, because a JSON is the same as text or string. Yeah. Then what we should say, JSON.parse user text. Let me just show you this. I can just take this and where I think I have to go to this file. Let's have this. What's wrong? I think I didn't copy it properly. So I have to copy it properly again. What kind of data? As you can see, I told you that we don't store a JSON in a variable. Yes, we don't store it. That's true. But now I'm trying to simulate a JSON. So if I store it as in a variable, it will be an object. And that's why I put it under backtick. And now this is a string. So yeah, so let's check console.log a type of what was this user text. I think I should put this in the other side. As you can see, the type is string. Great. If I just also print everything user text. Oh yeah, just this. Just it's a text. Great. Now we have to parse it. We have this the JSON object available globally, and we can say parse, and then we can pass user text, and then yeah, just like that. This could be enough for the time being. Console.log. But now, as you can see, it's not anymore a JSON. Now it's parsed. As you can see, it we parsed it. Yeah, it's a proper object, and also we can actually use a different parsing. As you can see here, I can use this one is another parameter. This parameter, let's just call it undefined for the time being, and this parameter is for indentation. For instance, if I give it for indentation, let's see how it looks like. Yeah, the for indentation, I think, goes to here. Let me see, for instance, if the indentation would be 0, and what's that? It's hard to see the indentation here because let's make this a bit easier, and then we can, let's remove the users, okay? And we can make this the indentation was not applied much, but this usually, this for, whenever you apply these parameters, it just give indentation here, just here. It could be just 2 or 4 or 0. So that's how you just add indentation. I couldn't see it here properly. For instance, 0. Okay, maybe I can check with small value. It's another easy way. I don't see that the indentation, okay, it doesn't matter. So, but it's meant for just to purify, to add some indentation to make it more readable. So it's readable enough, no problem. Okay. Let's see, what do we have next? Parsing. So as you can see, we managed to change this to an object. Yeah, just so there's this parser, and that's very good. Yeah, this is what we have used, json.parse. So as I told you, as you can see, even you can have a function here inside and do different operation. For instance, let's see what this one is doing. Okay, it's the same thing. Yeah, so what we did is actually, while before we change it to an object, we want to change the first name and the last name to uppercase, as you can see. So what did we use here? Okay, user. So key value, as you can see, the key and the value. Let new value type of, if the value is equal to string, and if the key is different from email, then value to uppercase, and then to value. So we have here, first we have to check that the type is string and the key should be different from email. Then we have to change it to uppercase. If not, we just keep it as a value. So the email, as you can see, we didn't change. You may see it here. The email, we didn't change to uppercase. So we can add additional. So as you can see here, if you remember, we say user undefined and for. Now, after this also, you can add additional, this the 8 or whatsoever, the third parameter. Even though it's not just showing us clearly that it's parsed, I don't know, but still it takes the third parameter. Okay, using a reviver function with just the json.parse, I think that's what we have used, and converting object to JSON. Oh, that's also very good. Now let's see, changing object. We have here the object, as you can see, it's so nice. Does it copy? Let's see. Oh yeah, it copied everything. Yeah, so as you can see, this is actually up to here is the object. Then we are about to change it to JSON. As you can see, const text, why text? Because if we change an object to a JSON, it will be a text. JSON.stringify, and then users, that means this object, the object I have here, all the objects at the top, undefined, we don't care about, we don't want to add any additional function over here, and then indentation for. Yeah, actually it works more when we stringify than when we change to object. For instance, if you change this to 16, you can see it so easily. Have you seen the indentation? it works so easily, but when we parse it to object, it's so hard. So I think 4 is very good. As you can see, it's good enough to look at. Even some, I would suggest 2 or 4 is very good. Yeah, even 2 looks very good. So this is a string and this is a JSON. Yeah, let's see if there's other method. Okay. Now using a filter array with JSON to stringify. Yeah, and what does this say is actually, we can also filter. For instance, you have an object and you want to change this to a JSON, and we don't want to take all the keys. But for instance, if I'm interested, the first name, last name, country, city, and age, let me show you. I think it's better. Oh, just now I can, wait, identifier text. Okay, text 2. I don't like labeling text 1, text 2, but let me do this time. Have you seen now, from this object, we have created our own filtered JSON, as you can see, just only, not everything, but this. First name, last name, country, city, and age. Yeah, it looks good. I think let's see if we have more about, yeah, so let's recap. JSON is a file. It can be used for storing data or transportation of data. Yeah. So JSON is a string or a text data type. That's great. And we can convert JSON to object or other data structures or formats, for instance, to XML or CSV format. Yeah, you can use a script, your own script, or you can use online materials or websites that allows you to do so. Yeah, for instance, convert, and it may gives you, for instance, this allows you to change JSON to CSV, or maybe CSV to JSON, or from JSON to XML, or whatsoever you want. But what I want to tell you, JSON is a file format. And to fetch this data, for instance, you can use a fetch method. Let's fetch it. For instance, we can fetch it here. Yeah, let's fetch it here. We can say fetch. It's an API or an object already available, globally available for JavaScript. And then we can say dot slash the file name. For instance, this one is test.json. Test.json. And then actually this has the then call. It's a promise. So we have to say response, and then from the response.json. So we have to get it as a JSON. After that, again, there's a then call. It should be a data by now, and we can say console.log and then data, and let's see if we fetched it. Yeah, we have fetched all the data. Then we can use, for instance, it is an object. We can use a normal for in loop for const maybe user in data, and let's do console.log and user. Oh yeah, but actually we have quite lots of I mean, if you see, let me show you just by printing the data. As you can see, every user got its own object, as you can see. So we can target that object using the user. So we can say console.log data and then the user. Oh yeah, now we can do whatever we want with this data. As you can see, I managed to get this. For instance, I can check the person who logged in or the person who do have high pointers whatsoever. I think this is good enough for JSON. JSON, a JavaScript object notation file format that allows you to store data, to transport data. And most of the time, whenever you fetch a RESTful API, also you get like this, the data, where is this? The cats API, something like this. Great, let's finish our JSON lesson over here.